Turnovers, the least amount of turnovers we have, the more chance we have to win, and that's how I think about it. So, just taking care of the ball is something that I've always prided myself in doing, and what I will continue to do.
How do you stop from taking risks like that? A lot of quarterbacks like to have that gunslinger mentality.
Yeah, just, you still have to take risk, but it's just knowing the right moment to take the risk and then being accurate in your risk taking as well. That's the biggest thing. There's always going to be risks to be taken as a quarterback, and just knowing the time and place for that is the biggest thing.
More being in the system for a year, you feel better about knowing now when you can take a risk and when not to?
Yeah. The more time you spend in something, the more intricacies you find out over time. So just being in this offense over time has definitely took my understanding to another level and understanding of what we're trying to accomplish as well.
Is the necklace new?
No, it's not new.
How long have you had that?
Since like April.
Okay. Said comes back. You have two new starters at wideout. How much will he rely on those other two guys playing well to get open? You can't have just a one-man show with Said.
Yeah. We have a lot of playmakers out there, so they have to account for everyone. Jabari, Ramel when he's out there, Brew when he's out there, Squirrel when he's out there, and Jalen Hyatt as well. So, and then me. So, just having a lot of playmakers around the field, just trying to get everyone the ball is always my goal, and making sure everyone's having a great time.
I was saying how you and Joe really have a healthy competition and relationship going on and off the field. How have you guys kind of used that to maybe motivate and encourage some of the younger guys to compete like you all do every day?
Yeah, just showing them how to go about their business and compete while also, being great friends. We always are picking at each other, nitpicking. We feel like we're our biggest critics. Anytime I come off the field, Joe has something to say. Anytime he comes off the field, I have something to say. No matter if it's a touchdown or an interception or whatever it may be, we just kind of feed off each other's energy.
What's the excitement like right now with camp starting up tomorrow?
Very exciting, very exciting. Just ready to go out there and compete at a high level with my teammates and communicate at a high level as well.
How long did it take for you and Joe to get to that point? I'm sure it didn't happen just overnight.
Yeah. We've always just had that competitive nature, but just started to spend more time with each other and start to really pick each other's brains. Just really never having someone in the room with you that has been in a position that you've been in before is a new thing to me and him. So we felt like it was kind of needed that we both just feed off each other's energy.
Is it easier to pull the young receivers along now to this year when you know you're going to be a starter and you're not getting for that spot?
I still approach it the same way, no matter what. No matter if I'm the third string quarterback, first string, no matter going into the season, the starter or not, I'm going to be a leader. Just by nature, that's who I am. And bringing young guys along is something I enjoy doing. So, day in and day out, I'm learning along with them.
Should people have higher expectations for this team than last year's team?
To each his own. Everyone has their own opinion. Everybody has their right, to think what they want to think. But we just come in each and every day and just try to get better.
How much has it just slowed down for you, the game, specifically with the playbook and not really having to put so much focus on learning that? I know new things happen each season, but specifically just being comfortable with the playbook and what to expect.
Yeah, well, just over time, you're in something so long that you start to figure out new nuances, so to say. Just learning what we want to accomplish by our play calling and what our play calling, might lead to. Really just trying to anticipate and think how Coach Golish is thinking, and then also, going back to film, and I already understand everything that we're trying to accomplish. So now I'm trying to understand what the defensive coordinator is trying to accomplish by giving us different looks and how we can counteract that as well.
Why do we hear such good things about Squirrel?
You said why?
Why? What makes
He's
him,
special.
What makes him
Like his stature and his speed is ridiculous. When he has the ball in his hands, he's a playmaker, and that's what this game is made of playmakers. So when you have a guy that has that size and has that speed, it's special.
How fast does it take to get to the tempo that Heupel wants? I know it's probably never fast enough, but how far into camp does it start to kind of feel like, okay, this is fast?
Yeah, day one. Like day one, we're hitting the ground running, and it just progressively gets faster. So hopefully we can get it to warp speed.
How much slower does it feel for you now compared to this time last year?
Honestly, it feels about the same. Just going through spring, we put a lot of time in our operation and understanding of the offense. So it really feels the same. But now I just feel like I have a lot more freedom, and the game itself has slowed down. For sure.
Polish was saying Cedric's really embraced kind of more of a vocal leadership role. How have you seen his growth this offseason?
Yeah, naturally Ced is a really reserved guy. But if you go up and talk to him, he'll have a great conversation with you. Very outgoing. Always wants to lead by example. But now being put in that bigger leadership role, and Bayless isn't here, and Javante Payton isn't here. He's a lot more vocal in expressing how he feels about what we're doing and how we're going about things throughout the building and throughout the day.
You have a new starter at left tackle. Do you feel like that's something you'll pay a lot of attention to? That is your blind side, obviously.
No, I mean they come in and do their job. I got to take care of my job. So I have complete trust in every one of my linemen, and I know that they'll put their life on the line for me, and I'll do the same for them.
What does it say about Joe that he didn't think about leaving after last season? He's still here competing, pushing you guys along.
Yeah, Joe is a very competitive guy, and day in and day out, he works his tail off. So, just being here at Tennessee, I feel like as a quarterback, you wouldn't want to be anywhere else. And having the leadership that we have in front of us, Coach Heupel and Coach Hosley, it's no other place to be as a quarterback, honestly.
How comfortable are you being a vocal leader now? I'm sure that didn't just come with you. You had to grow up with that.
I mean, since I can remember, I've always been kind of like the leader of the team. Just naturally being a quarterback, that kind of falls into place. But just wanting the best for people around me is something that I naturally just developed. And coming out of my shell was the biggest thing. Just trying to get my teammates to trust me first, and kind of being in a reserve spot and kind of pulling people aside at first. And now I can be a lot more vocal to the whole team and kind of address everything as a team-wide.
How well have you gotten to know these young guys, and anybody you're looking forward to in particular playing with?
Yeah, this is a family, so we spend a lot of time together on the field, off the field. I tell the young guys all the time, whenever you need anything, I got you. Just give me a call. I'll be there. So, that's occurred over time, and a lot of guys have gotten a lot more comfortable being here, and we're starting to see their personalities a lot more. So that's real cool. And really, I'm looking forward to seeing all of them play. All of them are special. All of them are here for a reason. So I'm ready to see them play their game.
And then obviously expectations are a lot higher this year than they were at this time last year. How are you guys dealing with those? Or is it kind of the same, business as usual?
Yeah, business as usual. Day in and day out, we just want to get 1% better. Concentrating on the little details to make sure that we're finishing ball games and keeping that same intensity from beginning to end.
The depth at running back with O'Neath out, how does that affect you as the quarterback?
Yeah, I mean, really just affects the running backs. Really, just trying to keep those guys' legs fresh is the biggest thing. So, whenever we can take some stress off of them, that's what we want to do.
How much is it going to be important for you guys, for those two young guys, to be ready to fill in there for depth in that running back room? Yeah, it's gonna be big. Everyone has to take a step forward, and that's what we all strive to do every day. So, I'm looking forward to seeing the young guys in action and seeing them break some tackles and some long runs.
Hendon, is there anything you've learned about Joe since living with him?
He can cook.
Yeah?
He can cook. Yeah, Joe can cook, for real. Yeah. Nothing really. We spent so much time together just from last season to now. Like, we take vacations together and whatnot. So, there's nothing really I didn't already know about Joe.
You do have a couple dogs. Are they as competitive as you guys in a fun way?
Yeah, they are. Joe has a pit and I have a golden doodle. So,
that's an interesting combo.
Yeah, it is. So I'm waiting for mine to get a little bigger. He's still a puppy right now. He's 16 weeks. So.
You said vacations where?
Yeah, we went to Miami just to get some time away, but we also were down there working out at House of Athletes, checking out their facility, which was great. And then anytime we're away from here, we're always in connection. We're gonna talk on the phone every day, or we're gonna shoot each other a text just to see how each other's doing.
When did it click like that for you guys? Because obviously you're competing a year ago, back and forth, but it sounds like sometime during the season it got close.
Yeah, really during camp. I remember like the first couple weeks in camp, it was like Joe throw a touchdown, Hendon throw a touchdown, Joe big run, Hendon big run, and we were just kind of alternating. And that's when we both just started to kind of get out of that rivalry mode and start to be more supportive of each other. And then going into the season, Joe being a starter, I'm his biggest advocate. I feel like anytime another quarterback is in there, I'm going to do my job as a teammate to be the best teammate that I can be and encourage them and help them in any way they need.
That fun competitive nature between you two guys, do you see it rubbing off on the younger guys like Taven over there?
Yeah. Tay coming from where he's from, been a big fish. It's cool to see him come into our room and be around other big fish and see his competitive nature come out and really start to ask questions and start to develop different traits that me and Joe have already possessed.
You guys are about to start the grind out there tomorrow. What advice would you give to the young guys going through that early?
Hydrate. Eat, and everything else take care of itself. Just have fun. Be confident in your abilities.
Joe mentioned, I think after the game he got hurt, I think he said you rather than do media, you went to him. Do you remember this? And you guys wanted to get to eat. Was that a moment for you guys, I guess?
Yeah, for sure. We've had a lot of that. I remember when I got hurt, Joe was the first one. Like, you okay, bro? I'm like, yeah, I'm good. And anything going on, whether it's in life or on the field, we always can turn to each other for advice.
Beyond being quarterbacks, you guys have that shared. I'm sure you talk about everything involved with that a lot. But what else is similar or is compatible with you two, personality-wise or interest-wise?
Yeah, family. We're big on family. One thing that we want to do is just make sure that our family is good. So in that regard, if there's anything going on where one of us can help each other, it's gonna happen. We're gonna assist each other in that nature.
What's his destiny as a quarterback?
Really, the top. He's amazing. I tell him all the time. I brag on him all the time and say, Joe could throw 100 yards, but he's amazing. His mind for football and IQ is extremely high. His athleticism is out of this world. Like, he's 6'6", 240. He can do backflips. Like, it's amazing. The ceiling is really not a thing. Like, Joe can really be the best college football player in the nation.
You told me in Atlanta that you don't want to run as much, maybe, but do you view your running ability to be a weapon for this offense?
Yeah, whatever's needed for us to win, that's what I'm going to do. Whether that's run, throw it, or hand it off. Whatever I need to do to assist the team, that's what I'll do.
Alex mentioned, that last year you're doing it kind of like, okay, that sounds good, coach. Yeah, let's do that. And now it's more like, well, I don't really like that as much. How much do you feel like your influence will be seen in what you guys do each Saturday?
Well, there isn't one play in the playbook that I don't like. So that's why it kind of seems like that. But I feel like me and Coach Goler's connection kind of grew, along with the rest of the coaching staff being here, and now just me being able to really be myself, which other places I haven't really been able to. So kind of being timid at first, and now really being able to come out my shell and communicate at a high level with Coach Goles and other coaches as well. It's been great.
That offensive staff, how would you describe the way they work and plan and scheme and everything?
Yeah, it's amazing. I call them like football scientists. They got everything down to a T, and they make sure that we understand why we're doing things, which is huge. Understanding why we're doing certain things helps us on the field, because we get different looks, whether we know the play, whether we know what the defense is doing or not. We know if we get a certain look that we can make corrections, or not corrections, but we can make audibles and whatever needs to be done to make sure that we execute the play. Yes, sir.
a lot of these D coordinators this year, you know, have now seen it. I know the first time maybe seeing this offense, it's like you can talk about it, but it's different. So do you guys think in terms of, okay, now that more of these coaches have seen it, what's our next step to make it tough on them?
Not really. I mean, we're just gonna play our game, and whatever comes at us, we'll be prepared because we have great coaches. Yes, sir.
Thanks, Hendon.
Thank you.
And then you talked to us in Atlanta about several different receivers. What have you seen from Romel Keaton this offseason? Where's he continued to grow out? And how can he be a factor for this team this fall?
Yeah, he can be a huge factor. You know, just like the rest of the receiving core. Like I said, you know, in Atlanta, every time I'm in the facility, they're in the facility. They might as well write their name on the jug machine, honestly, because every time I'm in here, I see somebody in here catching jugs. And Romel personally has really worked extremely hard this summer. Anytime we've had just an exhibition throwing session or whatnot, you know, he's always been one of the first guys here. You know, even he might beat me and Joe here, you know, a couple times. So, you know, just to see him really put that work in and see it paying off on the field is amazing.
Do you see his confidence continuing to grow as a guy that, you know, had chances as a freshman and then maybe didn't the next season and then, you know, contributed at times last fall? Do you see his confidence continuing to grow?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I feel like the more you're in there and the support that you get from our coaches and teammates, you know, we're really pushing Romel to, you know, really come out his shell. He's kind of a reserve guy as well, but he's starting to really come out his shell and, you know, communicate at a high level. And like I said before, like the work he's putting in is amazing, and we love to see that. We love to see guys grow and reach their max potential.
How is Jalen different than he was at this time last year?
Like you can look at him; he's a little bit thicker. You know, a lot more confident. You know, just piggybacking off what I just said, the guys that are coming in here putting the work in, it's paying off. And every receiver is in here constantly working on their game. And that's really what you need to, you know, go to the next level and be dominant in our field of work.
Jalen, how pivotal and how important is it for you to have 4 of your 5 offensive linemen coming back this year? Last year, everything was kind of new. Everyone's getting into a groove into the system. This year, you've got a lot more experience coming into this season. How important is that for you to have guys that have already played with you numerous times?
Yeah, it's a blessing. You know, we've all been to battle together, and you know, they encourage me, you know, to really talk to them and let them know, you know, what's going on, what am I seeing. So that communication factor is huge. You know, just quarterback and center connection is great. You know, at an all-time high. Coop is a very cerebral player. So, you know, him just being on the line and taking control and communicating at a high level with everyone else, and then that reciprocating to me is wonderful.
Yeah, I know that Jerome did a bad job filling in at center, but he's hard.
Yeah.
How much of a difference does Cooper make in there just from having everything, you know, taken care of so you don't have to worry about it?
Yeah, you know, Rome as well, you know, plays at an extremely high level. His football IQ is out of this world. But, you know, when I have Coop and Rome at the same time, that's a wonderful sight. So, you know, praying for great health for the rest of my linemen all year, and we're going to go dominate.